Good morning and welcome to our children's feature for today's online service. I'm glad that you've joined with me today. Naomi is going to be reading the story for this morning.
A story of the Pharisee and tax collector. Then Jesus told his story to some who had great self-confidence and scorned everyone else. Two men went to the temple to pray. One was a Pharisee, and the other was a dishonest tax collector. The proud Pharisee stood by himself and prayed his prayer. I thank you, God, that I am not a sinner like everyone else, especially that tax collector over there. I never cheat. I don't sin. I don't commit adultery. I fast twice a week and I give you a tenth of my income. But the tax collector stood a distance and dared to even lift his eyes to heaven as he prayed. Instead, he beat his chest in sorrow, saying, "Oh God, be merciful to me, for I am a sinner." I tell you, this sinner, not the Pharisee, returned home justified before God.
So you'll notice in this story that there were two main characters, and the two characters were very different. There was the Pharisee, and the Pharisee, he followed all the rules and he did lots of really good things. You would think that God would be pleased with him. Then there was the tax collector, and he was a thief. He was a sinner. So you would think that because of his sin that God wouldn't accept him. But in the story, we are told that God actually accepted the sinner and not the Pharisee who had done all the good things. Why? Well, it's because of the state of their heart. The Pharisee's heart is full of pride. He thinks he's so great and he looks down on other people. And so he's not loving towards other people, and he really is just loving himself. He doesn't see a need for God. Whereas the tax collector, he recognizes the sin in his life. He recognizes his need for God and he asks for forgiveness. God is much more pleased with a heart that recognizes the sin in our life and recognizes our need for him and comes to him for forgiveness than with a heart that is just full of pride and thinks that we don't even need forgiveness. So here's our question for today. Which character do you identify with the most? The tax collector or the Pharisee? All right, kids, thanks for joining with me today, and we'll see you next week.